Hi, so we're going to talk about how to solve two-step linear inequalities. That's assuming that you know how to solve very basic inequalities, one step. Example 1, solve and graph 2x plus 3 equals negative 3. We pretty much follow almost the same procedure that we follow with equations. We're going to subtract 3. It's going to give us 2x is greater than negative 6, divide by 2. We do need to remember when we divide by a positive number here, so the sign does not change. And that's going to give us x is greater than negative 3. Right? So negative 3 is here. It's going to be open. And we shade to the right because all the numbers that are greater than negative 3 are on the right of that. And this is what we have. Example 2, negative 5x plus 2 is less than or equal to negative 8. So we are going to subtract 2 as our first step. When we subtract or add, it does not change anything. It's going to give us negative 5x is less than or equal to negative 10. Now we have to divide, but we're dividing by a negative number here. So when we divide by a negative number, we must flip the sign here. So the sign is going to flip, and you're supposed to end up with x is greater than or equal to 2. 2 is here. This time it's going to be closed because it's greater than or equal to. We are going to shade to the right. Okay. Continuing on. 2 is less than negative 3 minus x. So we want to leave x by itself. So we're going to do plus 3. Plus 3 is going to give us 5 is less than negative x. So here's what we need to do. We need to divide first of all by negative 1. And since this number is negative, we're going to need to flip the sign. So that's going to give us negative 5 is greater than x. But as you hopefully recall, with inequalities, you need to realize that when you want to graph it correctly, you need to put x on the left. So what we do is we reverse the whole entire thing, and it's going to give us x is less than negative 5. Okay. So here's negative 5. It is going to be open, and we shade to the left. Okay. X over 3 is greater than or equal to negative 1. Since we're dividing here, but we're dividing by a positive number, we will multiply by a positive number. So that's going to give us x is greater than or equal to negative 3. Correct? Negative 3 is right there. This one's going to be closed. Anything that's greater than negative 3 is on the right of that. And this is where we're going to shade. I hope you're finding that easy enough. Just a couple more problems. 2x minus 6 is greater than negative 6. So plus 6 to leave x by itself. Plus 6. That's going to give us 2x is greater than 0. It's a positive number here, so we will divide by positive 2. The sign will stay the same. And 0 divided by 2 is 0. Right? And of course that is going to give us so mark 0 is going to be an open circle, and we're shading everything to the right. I want to address one more thing that sometimes you need to write. Sometimes you need to write this solution to an inequality using an interval notation. So that's an interval going from leftmost point to the rightmost point. So for interval notation, we start at 0, but it doesn't equal 0, so it's going to be open from 0 to infinity. Right? Because we start at 0, but it does not equal, so it's going to be open with parentheses, and then it goes all the way to positive infinity. Okay? Let me finish this problem. I want to show you one more example in the writing interval notation with one of the problems we already did. So let's do this one. We subtract 3. We're going to get negative 2x is less than or equal to 3. We are going to divide by -2, so we have to be very careful with dividing by a negative number. The sign's going to flip, so it's going to give you x is greater than or equal to -3/2. -3/2 is 1.5 to be exact. So -1.5 is right there. It's going to be closed, and we're shading to the right. So I do want to show you the difference here, because this one is greater than or equal to. So when we are going to write interval notation, we start at -3/2, we're still going to the right, but because it can equal -3/2, we're going to use a bracket. From -3/2 to infinity. Alright, and as I promised, let me go back to one problem and show you how you do it when the inequality, when you shade in the opposite direction. We already did this problem, so we don't need to solve it, we're just going to write it using interval notation. So example number 3. Interval notation. So what happens here? We have to go from the leftmost point to the rightmost point. So this point is -5, this is our boundary point, but we can't go from -5 to -infinity because that's going in the wrong direction. So what happens here, there's -infinity there, and that means we are going to start at -infinity and go all the way to -5, and now is it going to be open or closed? Well, this is open, so we're going to use parentheses. Okay, this is how it's done. Hope this helps.